What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to do some Atlanta Falcons news and notes, and then I also would like to do a video about our owner, Arthur Blank. But with that being said, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I appreciate all of you guys for continuing to tune into the channel for the best Atlanta Falcons content. But as always, let's continue to grow this thing. I appreciate you guys for continuing to share this content out on all the social media platforms. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So first, with our Atlanta Falcons news and notes, as you know, tomorrow the NFL schedule comes out. So I will be doing a video, probably if it's not done tomorrow, I'll be doing a video on Friday to break down the schedule of what our record may be, what will be the toughest games this upcoming season, and I'll just talk about the schedule in general. But in this video today, I want to definitely go ahead and talk about Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank, I feel like, is one of the best owners, NFL owners in the league today. I do believe that Arthur Blank has done a great job of changing the Atlanta Falcons culture. If you've been an Atlanta Falcons fan for a very long time, I'm 31 years old, so I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan for maybe about 20 years at this point. But if you've been a fan, a long-time fan of the Atlanta Falcons, for the older fans that's been around since the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s, the Atlanta Falcons were not a winning franchise. And back then, Arthur Blank didn't own the team. I believe he didn't start owning the team until like 2000 or 2001. But Arthur Blank has did a great job of changing the culture of the Atlanta Falcons. One thing that I love about Arthur Blank is he's very loyal to his players, especially his superstar franchise type players. If you've been watching the Falcons or you've been a fan of the Falcons since Arthur Blank's been the owner of the team, to me, he's done everything an owner could possibly do to help his players succeed. Bringing in new coaching staff, building a whole new stadium. Now recently updating the jerseys. This is the second time since he's been around that they've updated the jerseys. So he just did a ton of things for the city of Atlanta and a ton for the franchise. We're in the Super Bowl in 2016 under his ownership. And I just think he does a great job of empowering his head coaches and his GM and everybody. He allows them to do their job. I don't want to take a shot at anybody or any franchises, but just watching lately Undisputed and watching a lot of the social media platforms, and my wife is actually a Dallas Cowboys fan, and just watching the way that Jerry Jones, the way that he treats his players, for the most part, he does a pretty good job of treating his players too like family and things of that nature. But the way that he's been handling this Dak Prescott situation, it just really makes me appreciate Arthur Blank that much more as our owner, because I really feel the way that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are handling the Dak Prescott situation, I don't think that they're handling that situation correctly with bringing in Andy Dalton and paying Zeke Elliott and paying Amari Cooper and not paying their franchise quarterback. To me, Dak Prescott has been a model citizen. He has been in lockstep with Jerry Jones. He hasn't sat out. Last year, he only played for $2 million as a franchise quarterback of probably the biggest franchise, well, no doubt the biggest franchise in the NFL and one of the biggest franchises in all of the sports across the world. So I really feel like the way that they're handling this Dak Prescott situation isn't correct. Dak Prescott has done everything to be the leader for that team. And I feel like the way that Jerry Jones and these guys are dragging, his name through the mud and not paying him, I really just appreciate Arthur Blank that much more. All of the players that deserve to get paid, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, all of the players that were recently paid within the last couple seasons that basically outperformed their contract, they all either got extensions or they got brand new contracts. All of those guys that were on rookie deals that balled out, Deion Jones and Grady Jarrett, even Ricardo Allen, all of those guys were rewarded for their play on the field. And I feel like Arthur Blank does a great job as the owner of making sure his team stays competitive every year. He always is like an innovative type. He has an innovative type mind, and he's always ahead. And I love that about Arthur Blank. And I really feel like he really deserves a Super Bowl championship. And I really do hope that our Atlanta Falcons get over the hump this season. Every time I watch that 2016 Super Bowl, I feel really bad for Arthur Blank because I was super happy for him when we were up 28-3 in that Super Bowl, and they showed him and I think it's his wife in the press box, and they were high-fiving, and they were really excited, and they really thought that we had that Super Bowl in the bag. And I think everybody, all Atlanta Falcons fans, felt like we had that Super Bowl in the bag. But I really think that Arthur Blank, I really felt really bad for him. I felt bad for our team as a whole, but I really felt bad for Arthur Blank because he's poured his heart and his soul into the Atlanta Falcons. He's poured all of his money, for the most part, into the team, into the practice facilities to make sure our players have the best equipment. Like I said, he's poured all of his time and effort into making the Atlanta Falcons franchise a competitive franchise. And under his watch, the team has been in the playoffs more times than not. This team has been really successful from the years back when we had Mike Vick to now to Matt Ryan. He did a great job of bringing in Thomas Dimitroff and bringing in two different coaching staffs that were successful. Even under Mike Smith's tenure, the team did get to the NFC Championship game in 2012. And it's just been, he's just done a great job, I feel like, as an owner in the NFL. And sometimes I think that goes overlooked. If you just think of some of the laughingstock franchises of late, the Cincinnati Bengals, how they talk about their owner doesn't like to pay his players, and he likes to nickel and dime, and they talk about how bad the facilities are in Cincinnati. You got the Cleveland Browns and how bad that franchise has been for years and years and years, decades at this point. It's just a lot of bad franchises in the NFL and a lot of bad owners that don't care about winning, and they don't spend the money to try to have a competitive product on the field. Even the Miami Dolphins over the last decade or so, they're another franchise that's been like a laughingstock. They haven't been competitive. Their owner hasn't poured money into the team. This year, they finally spent money in the free agency and brought in a bunch of players. But if you know, most of those teams in the AFC East, the Jets, the Buffalo Bills, a lot of those teams have been laughingstocks within the last 10 years. They haven't done a good job of building. And it's a lot of teams in the NFL, like the Jacksonville Jaguars also, that they don't do a good job of pouring into their franchise. They don't do a good job of making sure the team is competitive year after year after year. And even in years when our Falcons have went 7-9 and 8-8, and been right outside the playoffs, maybe 2 or 3 games out of the playoffs, I feel like we always have a competitive product. It was only like I think one season with Mike Smith, which was his last year, where I think the team we had a terrible record. But other than that, for the most part, if the Falcons are not, if we're not in the playoffs, we're knocking right on the doorstep, or we're like 2 or 3 games out of missing. So we're like 8-8, 7-9. Even these last 2 seasons, we were 7-9, but we still put a competitive product out on the field. And I think that a lot of credit needs to go to Arthur Blank. I think he's done an excellent job at bringing in the right coaching staff. He did an excellent job at bringing in Rich McKay to help Thomas Dimitroff and help the staff. Like I said, he done a great job of getting the Mercedes-Benz Stadium built and the structure of the stadium and all of that. I think he did a great job of bringing in the right people to build the new stadium. I think also to him getting with the rappers that's in the city and getting with a lot of modern fans to update the new jerseys. Like I said, I think he just has done a very good job of making the Atlanta Falcons a great product, and he's put an excellent product out on the field. This year, also, I think the team has done a great job, as I mentioned in my last video, of bringing in great free agents. even though we didn't have a ton of money, I think Thomas Dimitroff, Rich McKay, all those guys putting their minds together did a good job of balancing that checkbook, balancing out the salary cap, cutting certain players like a Devontae Freeman, cutting a Desmond Trufant to bring in a Dante Fowler and to bring in a Todd Gurley, which I think is going to bring a lot of buzz to the city because, as you know, the Atlanta Falcons, a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans are also Georgia Bulldog fans. So bringing in Todd Gurley, a former player, star player in college, I definitely think, and star player in the NFL, I think that was an excellent move and an excellent marketing move. Where we're going to sell a ton of jerseys. We're bringing in Todd Gurley, also bringing Dante Fowler back, or bringing Dante Fowler to the Atlanta Falcons, and his ties that he has with Dan Quinn. I just think they've been awesome this year in the offseason. They've done a great job of not only marketing the team with these new jerseys and the new stadium, but also bringing in new coaches on the coaching staff. Tosh Lapoy on the defensive side, Joe Witt on the defensive side of the ball for our secondary. I just think all together, what's the name? Arthur Blank has done a very, very good job of overseeing his franchise. Also, Arthur Blank did also recently bring a soccer team to Atlanta, which also they have already won a championship in the soccer league. So I just think Arthur Blank is a very, very good owner. Sometimes I think it goes overlooked. But as I've been watching lately, the whole fiasco with Dak Prescott, the whole fiasco with the Dallas Cowboys, and then just listening to a lot of the different fan bases and looking at and watching a lot of these different owners that are just terrible owners. I just love the way that, Arthur Blank has, the job he has done since he's been in Atlanta. And I think that he deserves a job well done. For all he's done. And I definitely believe that the Atlanta Falcons will compete for a Super Bowl championship this year. And I think that it's well deserved it's well deserved from the top. Because if you want to have a successful franchise, it starts at the top. If you look at a lot of the different franchises that are successful, the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft is another one of the best owners in the league. He's done a great job with the structure, bringing in Bill Belichick, and he had Tom Brady there for years and years and years. And they were another team that had a great structure. And I think the Atlanta Falcons are one of those franchises also in the league that has a great structure. And I believe that we'll be a team that will never, have to deal with 0-16 season and things of that nature, like the Cleveland Browns and some of these other franchises that consistently lose year after year. And I really believe that a lot of it has to do with Arthur Blank and the way that he empowers his staff and the way that he empowers everybody that works under him. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you guys think about Arthur Blank. You also guys let me know what you think about the upcoming schedule. And if it's a subject that you would like me to touch on for our Atlanta Falcons, please drop it in the comment section. I'll be happy to do a video on that. The last video had a ton of views when I broke down the NFC South. Of course, I have a ton of more content for you guys. I love doing this and love breaking things down, answering you guys' questions. But I'm very excited tomorrow about the NFL schedule. Now I have heard it has been leaked, I've been hearing lately on social media that the first game of the season will be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football in Tampa, Florida. So I'm definitely keeping my ears to the street to hear, and keep my eyes open, my eyes wide looking to see what information I can find out for you guys. But I have been hearing that the first game of the season will be against the Buccaneers. So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. And as always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Holla at y'all. Peace.